Hello everyone, welcome to lesson number 20. This is grade 8 mathematics. Alright, in this lesson, before we look at today's work or this lesson work, I would like to give the answers to activity number 1 from video number 19. Alright, to write down the cube root of 27, which is 3. Alright, so because 3 times 3 times 3 will give us 27, so the answer is just 3. Write down the cube root of negative 64, which is negative 4, because negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 give us negative 64. Otherwise, you could have just punched this on your calculator and get the answers. Alright, and then work out the cube root of negative 216, which is negative 6, because negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6 will give us negative 216. And then part D is very interesting. Write down a number that is both a square number and a cube number at the same time. So you have two options. So you could have said 1 or 64. How is that so? Because 1 can be a square number when you say 1 times 1 is equal to 1, which is a square number, or you can say 1 times 1 times 1, which is equal to 1. That's a cube number. Remember, for a square number you multiply a number twice. For a cube number you multiply the number 3 times. So 1 can be a square number and a cube number at the same time. Or you could have said 64. 64, you can get 64 when you say 8 times 8 is equal to 64. That is a square number. Or you can say 4 times 4 times 4 is equal to 64, which is a cube number. Alright, let's look at today's work. Today's work, we are going to finalize, or we're going to look at square numbers for the last time and the cube numbers. But then we have already done the cube number. We already know how to get this cube numbers from the first one up to the 10th one. But then the syllabus says for the square numbers you should also know up to the 20th square number. Alright, so that's why in this table you are just gonna continue finding the remaining square numbers starting from 13. So that's 13 times 13, and then you write down the answer, 14 times 14. Please do it the same way I've done it, like this. Please, I want you to do it this way: 12 times 12, 144, 13 times 13, 14 times 14, up to 20 times 20. Alright, so whether you draw the table like this or you can just list them down, please take a picture and share with me on WhatsApp. Alright, now this is the other work for today. Okay, something that we have done before. Alright, so this competency says you should be able to determine the square and the cube roots of any real number by using the decomposition method. Alright, by decomposing the number into prime factors. So we have done this already. This part we have done it in video number 5 and number 6. So if you've forgotten, please revisit those two videos and see how we're decomposing a number into its prime factors. Okay, so the learners that have a study guide, this is on page 4 of the study guide. So the examples are given there. So now in paper 1 you won't be using a calculator, so obviously you are going to determine the square and the cube roots of any cube number or square number using this method. Alright, so I'm going to give you two examples how to do just that. Alright, let us look at example number 1. Number 1 says determine the square root of 25 without using a calculator. So what do? You decompose that 25 into the product of its prime factors. So you need to know your first 5 prime numbers or prime factors. So we say 25, we divide 25 by 5. So we cannot divide 25 by 2 and 3, because 2 and 3, when they divide into 25, they're going to give us remainder. So we should move to the next prime factor, which is 5. So 5 goes into 25 5 times. Then we go back again. 2 and 3 can go into 5, but they're going to give us decimal reminders. So we rather go to 5. 5 goes into 5 once. So the moment you get the 1, that is when you stop. So we can now say that 25 can be written as 5 times 5, which is 5 exponent 2. So this 5 here is what we call the square root of 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. So we've done this without a calculator. Alright, so you need to know this for paper 1. Let us look at example number 2. Example number 2, we want to determine the cube root of 216 without using calculator. Alright, so again, we start off dividing this number with the smallest prime factor. This time around, we're going to start with a 2 because the number ends with a 6, which is a cube, which is a even number. Alright, so 2 goes into 216 108 times. Now the question is, how can you get that number without a calculator? So what you need to do, you just break up 200 into 216. Then you ask yourself, 200 divided by 2 is 100, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 216 divided by 2 is 100 plus 8, which is 108. So when you are dividing a big number, so and you are doing that without a calculator, it's better to break it up like the way I did here. All right, so then we move on. So this number can also be divided by 2 because it ends with an 8. So 2 goes into 108 how many times? Again, we break it up into 108. So 2 goes into 100 50 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times, so that is 54. So 2 goes into 108 54 times. And then this one will be easy to divide by 2 because that's 25 plus 2. So 2 goes into 54 27 times. All right, and then now we cannot divide 27 by 2. We go back to our list. We take 3 goes into 27 9 times, and then 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 3 times. 1 time. So the moment you get to 1, that is when you stop. Okay, now what does it mean? It means now 216 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. So we can say 2 exponent 3. All right, this is now we are writing in a index notation. All right, so this is expanded notation and times 3 exponent 3. So 216 is 2 exponent 3 times 3 exponent 3. So, and these can be written as 2 times 3 and everything to the exponent 3. Or you can just simply say, if I multiply the bases, let me just highlight them, multiply the bases 2 times 3, I'll get a 6. So the cube root of 216 is 6. So you can confirm that by multiplying 6 3 times. 6 times 6 times 6 will give us 216. All right, my friends, I hope you have picked up something here. So what I want you to do is do these 2 activities. You are going to determine the square root of 36 without using a calculator using the same method I've shown you here. And also part 2, determine the cube root of 512 without using a calculator. Thank you for watching. Remember to do your work, take a picture and share with me on WhatsApp. So far, I would like to thank the likes of Elizabeth, Queen, and Christophina. They are always doing the work, taking pictures and sending their work to me. All right, thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye bye.